As I've always been an Undying enthusiast, I've always known that there has been a rumor of a secret level in the game. As such, I took matters into my own hands and decided to try and find out. You see, across lots of websites, and even the official wiki, there are mentions of a cheat code, Undying backwards. It states that the bonus level could only be found in the UK's release of the game, so it was time for some investigation. After a bit of pondering and some advice from a friend, I came across a website called Redump. It's a preservation database of discs, and it seemingly had all copies of Clive Barker's Undying listed as well. Version 2.5.7, released by Sold Out Software. This looks promising. So what we got is a re-release in 2005, a different version than the original, and the fact that it was from the UK. That's some good shit. So what do we do now? I did what any reasonable person in my position would do. I pulled out my credit card. After a while of searching online, I found a listing on eBay, Clive Barker's Undying published by Sold Out Software, and being shipped from the UK nonetheless. Perfect. After growing a bit impatient from delays in asking the seller about the whereabouts, it had finally arrived. Time to go get it. So here it was, my most prized possession for the time being. Only to forget that my computer actually doesn't have a CD-ROM drive. Fuck. After my friend came over with a portable CD-ROM drive and me getting hustled on some pizza, it was finally time to install the game. I was greeted with an old installation dashboard from the early 2000s. I hit install and was prompted to enter my CD key. I was greeted by the installation wizard before selecting which files I wanted to download from the disk. And so the installation and suspense started. I was shown some official art which I'm sure some of you might appreciate, so I decided to include it in the video. If you don't care about art, there's a time on the screen so that you can skip forward. Once Undying was downloaded, I headed in-game to start up the secret level and... yeah, just watch.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
But wait, there was some hope. Included in the installation software, there was a patch, and it contains a texture patch. No map in sight. I wanted to travel further down the rabbit hole to try and figure out where it all started. Was this all fabricated? An old prank of sorts? Well, let's see if we can find out. Using DuckDuckGo's search engine and setting the date interval between January 1st, 2001 to August 1st, 2001, it gave me two results. One was GameFAQs. Although I was unable to find out much information, I would assume that DuckDuckGo got the date wrong after some investigation. As for NeoSeeker, they keep records all the way to 1999, so it is possible that it was indeed updated in 2001. He was kind enough to leave his email though, so I did email, but considering this was over 20 years ago, I'm really shooting a shot in the dark here. He didn't get back to me before uploading this video anyways. As for the information itself, it's very well written, so I assume that he got it from another third-party source who probably has gotten lost to time. Another interesting fact is that this code was published in the CD Expert magazine in number 52. And on page 24, well, what do we have here? Whilst I don't speak Portuguese, it basically just says that the cheat code enables a secret level in some versions of the game. I had some difficulty finding an exact date when this magazine was published, but on page 4 there's an ongoing promotion that ends on 15th of January of 2002. If you have been paying attention, you might wonder, but QTS, if websites had this code listed as far back as 2001 and it even appeared in a magazine in 2002, it couldn't possibly have been released with the 2005 UK version that you bought online, right? And if you thought about that, then you are 100% correct. You see, I might have been baited by the official wiki and all the other things that have pointed towards it being the correct version, whilst in hindsight, it was not. So now there was only one thing left I could think of. The man, the myth, the legend himself. Man who appeared in the credits, the creator of this masterpiece, lead designer Delcamp Roakana Seaford, who by the way is an absolute fucking gigashad legend for replying and answering my questions. So I asked him about the cheat code and if he was able to shed any light on the situation, and this was his response to the questions. Honestly, I'm unaware of anything like that. It is possible that someone did something post-launch, but I don't believe we had any content held back. Any of the alternative missions we had planned were cut early, so they wouldn't have been in a playable state. Furthermore, he elaborates, my take is that it would be unfortunate if this isn't a real code that unlocks content. However, in the 20 plus years that have passed, I must admit that I don't really know all of the details of what happened post-launch. To conclude this video, it's safe to say that there's a great uncertainty that this map even exists to begin with. Considering the fact that there's no footage or screenshots online, that it wasn't included in the 2005 re-release that I bought, and even that the lead designer is skeptical of its existence, means that we must draw the conclusion that there likely isn't such a map. If we are still going to assume that there's a secret level out there, then it can't be one of these bottom ones as the release dates are too new. If we rule out the NA release, then it can't be the first one either, which leaves us with the first release of EU as well as the Netherlands edition, which have these serial codes respectively. Supposedly after digging a bit online, there appears to be an Asian as well as a Japanese box of the game as well. Unfortunately, I'm not rich enough to pay $200 to $300 US to have a small chance at uncovering a map that probably doesn't exist to begin with. But hey, if you are feeling lucky or happen to be economically independent, go ahead. However, I am rich enough to put out a $100 US bounty to whomever can provide me with a map associated with the start code Undying backwards. So if you have one of these serial codes on the back of your physical copy and you reach out to me, you just might be $100 US richer. You can reach out to me on Discord, QTS #4649, or by joining the Unofficial Undying Discord. The link will be shown on screen. You can also find it as a pinned comment and in the description below. It's home to mods, graphic updates and patches for a more enjoyable playing experience, speedrunning techniques, etc. I'm sure there's some content for you regardless of how you play the game. I know it's not the video you had all hoped for. It's not the video I had hoped to provide either. Regardless, I hope that you enjoyed going down this rabbit hole together. With all that out of the way, there was only one thing left to do.